All right, guys, you're being recorded. Woo, woo, woo. All right, so what we're doing today, like I just said, is we're going to play a little bit together, and then we're going to talk about my pedagogical basics for sound production and teaching. And then we're going to do some lessons where you guys, as aspiring teachers, are going to critique each other. So what we're really looking at is the basics of how to make sound and the basics of articulation, because pretty much, as you guys know from taking lessons with me, if we have control of our air and our control of our tongue, that fixes 99% of everything else. Yeah, you got to be able to tell a story with your music and all that stuff, but where you put your tongue and how you blow is pretty much all the everything. And shut up. So this might not go in there. Anyway, so let's start off with the Jacob's flow studies. I think the versions that I gave you of this look a little different, but we're just going to do the first one. It starts on quarter notes, has 2 lines. Have you guys both played a little bit today?
Yeah. I've not.
Oh, well, I guess we're going to have the short and dirty one up here. Huh? All right, so just 1 and 2. Super smooth. Okay, now a complete contrast is Etude 16 from the Arbins over there with the quarter notes. I know we've all done these in our lessons before. What we want to do is play well super short, super clear, and really align them together. So, toe, 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 toe. So about quarter note equals 60. And super short, super clear. Get that right in the middle of the notes. Here we go. 1 and 2 and ready and we got it right here. Let's one at a time just take the first 4 bars of this just to make sure that we're playing right down the center of stuff. I'll start off. Did you hear any of them that were a little not super clear? Not really. I mean, I think there were a couple. I didn't feel super clean on the higher F. Cool. Give it a shot. Good. up, clean that up. Could you hear how there was a little extra on some of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we need to do to clean that up is, remember on our breath, we want to have like the sound of mow, like mowing your yard, but backwards. And then the out is like toe, so it'll be toe, toe. We want to keep it nice and open in there. When you get that extra tongue, it's usually because you've got pressure on your air before it. So if you're like if you held your air and you do that like epiglottis stuff, that glottal stuff, that's usually when you get the tack. So really think of it as going. Let's just do the first 2 bars again.
Sure.
You're up next. Let's just start just the first note. Toe. I'm getting toe. Right. Toe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do it a couple more times. A little bit extra on that one. There you go. Just keep that tongue. Keep that tongue for it. Good. All right, Devin. First 4 bars. Actually, that was really nice. You agree? Cool. All right. So, in using the 2 styles that airflow studies and or like we do Bordoni exercises and stuff like that, those big airflow things where your air is just the whole time, that's a type of air. And then those articulation things. And I'm a firm believer if we just really concentrate on having great airflow combined with great first articulations, we can fix 99% of music problems. So we're going to do a little sight reading right now. I meant to have copies for you, but the copy machine's on the fritz down there. All right, so I'm going to have you guys basically teach each other using those concepts. So this is a Don Haddad short etudes. I tried to choose something that we just don't ever really play together. Can you guys get to where you can both see this? We're going to do this number 3 etude from Tendare. We'll just play the whole etude together, then I'll have Cooper play the first half. Actually, I'll have you play the first half and you be the teacher, and then we'll swap roles there. Let's try to read this together. All right. You ready, Chief? Yeah, I know.
My tuba and then get a little closer.
No problem. Yeah, which, you know, I had a packet all set together, went down to the copy machine, and it's, well, our copy machine. So we're going to just play all the way through it. So number 3. Number 3. It's in B flat, pretty slow. Here we go. Legato. 1 and 2 and sight read. Go. So pretty easy tune, right? So I'm gonna have you play from the beginning up till the, don't do the pickup to the second page. So the beginning up through bar 8 on that F hold on. Alright? Okay, so what you're doing is listening. I mean, he can figure out right notes and wrong notes if he has any problems there. But where is the air gonna help him, and where is the tongue gonna help him in this? Alright, pretty good overall.
I'd say the main thing was just breathing in the wrong place, I'd say. Except for like at the breath mark.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a good breath and obviously a good place. He had one weird one toward the end. I think it was on a bar line. Was it just like right there? Like,
That's right there.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Figured, but yeah, that was just, kind of cut the phrase off a little early.
How was he when he, ba-dee-da-da, were those all really clear?
Not quite.
Okay, so how can we fix that?
Keep the air moving.
Okay, so using the steps that we use in our lessons, remember we usually check what we do with our air and where we put our tongue. How would you, well, maybe just give him another shot, because that was a sight read,
Oh yeah.
or a second read. But let's make a couple of bars of this just stellar.
Okay.
So maybe
You wanna go first?
where it goes up to like an F or something like that?
Yeah, first 4 bars, end with the C, I guess.
Yeah, let's do that.
Nice, that was already.
Yeah, that was a lot better too. So what'd you do differently that time?
I made everything a lot more legato. I took breaths in like spots that I only took one breath, but I took it in like an actual good spot instead of just when I ran out of air.
Did you use your air any differently?
I
Like
I
the
feel like you took a
speed of
bigger
it?
breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, bigger breath for sure.
Yeah, I feel like I stretched it out more.
Yeah, where that ba-dee da da da, the first time you were using a real stagnant air stream, or not stagnant, but not moving, it was just air, which you don't have it in your ears, so you don't know where everything goes yet. But the second time when I could hear you speeding up.
Yeah, I was trying to blow through it.
Yeah, and that's the same as in your material, when, like in your, like on the concerto that you're doing right now, or sonata rather. When you go high on that stuff, remember we have to speed our, when you did that and applied it there, it was like, oh, nice, nice. Cool, why don't you take it from the pickup to the second page?
Okay.
Now he's got a few more high notes in here, so make sure you're helping him with the air. Let's go ahead and stop right there, we'll just do that much. Alright, got anything?
One of the first things that stuck out to me was a lot of, specifically on like the eighth notes or the shorter notes, the first attack wasn't very clear.
Okay.
A lot of it was like a kind of like a wobble.
Okay, try it again.
Okay.
Go ahead and start again.
Okay.
Big breath. What'd you think?
I thought it sounded a lot better. I could tell you used more air, and that
Yeah.
helped a lot.
So, but it's not enough to say use more air, because that's what you're going to always, as a band director, you're going to be saying, use more air all the time. And I don't think that registers with kids. I think they think that means play louder.
Yeah.
So make sure that when you talk about air, you're talking about it as a shape. You know, like if the line is going up, you speed up your air. If it's coming down, you may not be speeding your air up, but you're opening it up. Remember that analogy with the faucets and stuff?
Mhm.
Whoosh, kind of a thing with your air. So I thought it was a lot better too, but I don't have my music in front of me here. So in the top of the second page, da 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 dee da da dum. It was certainly more legato. But make sure that it's different from the legato to the actual slur there.
Okay.
Can you just start on the top of the page there? Okay, and I want you to tell me if you think that we can make that a little different.
Where's it starting from the C?
The top of the page, yeah, just on that C. Good. What'd you think on that? It's right,
Yeah.
but what's going to make it more than right? You know, like stellar,
I think it just needs to sound more full.
like more air, kind of like full,
Like,
on all the sounds.
I can't think of like a good way to describe it, but like the tones, they don't necessarily sound flat, but like they just don't sound like they're all the way there. Like I don't
It's
believe
not
it.
resonating
Yeah,
a lot?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, those are words I would use.
Yeah.
Where I
It's
really
the right
hear-
notes in the right place,
Mhm.
but
What I'm hearing is the first one I thought was really quite nice, and then here, even though it's the same rhythmic pattern, there was a twa 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 twa.
Yeah,
So instead of that real open sound, let's do some things to fix it.
Okay.
Let's take it on the B flat here. Is that a B flat? Yeah. I can barely see. Just take that bar there, starting on the B flat, starting on the C, and we're gonna do it as a true slur. I know it's articulated, but try it as a true slur. So
Okay.
no tongue whatsoever, and don't break your air at all.
Okay.
Let's just do the 8 notes. Okay, so what should your air be doing direction-wise? Do that kind of a thing. Again. Nice. Now let's throw just a little bit of tongue on it and go same air and go. What'd you think of that?
it was good. Yeah.
All right, so what I'm hearing different in is there's 3 parts to a note. There's beginning, the middle, and the end, right? Since it's all in one line, you don't really have to worry about the ends of the notes in the phrase until you get to the end. But you still have the beginning and the body of the notes. So at first what you were doing is you were getting, I think, pretty good starts to the note, ta, 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 was good, but the middle of the notes wasn't there.
Okay.
So when we opened it up with the legato, and then when we did it as a slur, we concentrated on the O instead of the T. So we had to, to, to later when they put them together. That kind of makes sense? So when you're working with Harry's son, sound concepts, you want to use these, you want to talk about those that way. And when you're working with your students in Manhattan or Lawrence, yeah, sorry, I put you in the wrong place. When you're doing that, you want to make sure that you're, if you just think about sound and how you start it, that's good. We take a lot of time when we talk about air as all this, the mechanics of it. You know, we've done those lessons in here where we make our belly fat and all that stuff. Especially me. No, but we talk about how we use the air or how we get it in us, but it's not really about how you got to get it in. You have to be as efficient as possible to fill up. But it's not just, all right, you got all this air now, you just go and let it drool out. It has to be the shapes of the lines and stuff. So if we take that basic concept and just use the articulation stuff we did as just a little bit of a clean, 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 I think that helps a lot. Cool. I'm going to turn this off. Hopefully I recorded all of that. Take two? No.